I want to ask you about kind of your memories as a little girl because you've written about your childhood before, Chelsea, in a lot of books that you've written. But there was one very funny story about your lemonade stand, and it's clear that you were this ball busting, precocious little ambitious tyke from a very early age. So tell us about this lemonade stand, how you were able to maneuver. You were very funny and calculating at a very early age. And not only do I want to know about that story, but where you got this from. But first, tell us about the lemonade stand.
Well, the lemonade stand, I first of all, I needed to start making money because my parents did not have a trust fund for me or a dowry. I inquired about that as well. And I realized pretty quickly that I was going to have to make my own way, that my family was not going to help me, that
And there
I
were a
needed
lot
to.
of kids, as your mom explained to you.
Absolutely. There were six children, and there were, so that was annoying as well. When I came home from the hospital, I was like, why are there so many other kids here? How many kids do you guys have? Like, it just seemed so irresponsible, the whole dynamic, right? My parents weren't parents. They were just kind of like other people
Baby
that were in the
makers.
house. Yeah. So I started a lemonade stand, and then I did that for one day and realized there was
Wait,
going to
how
be no.
old were you and who was your partner at the beginning?
First, I was 8. I did a regular straight up lemonade stand and I made about $3 or $4. And I thought, well, this is a complete waste of my time. And then I thought, oh, you know what I need to do is put a spin on the lemonade stand and turn it into a hard lemonade stand
Well,
and
first,
serve.
so wait, because first it was with your sister and she demanded 50%. And you were like, I don't want to give away 50%, right? So
Right.
you found this kid named Nelson in your neighborhood.
First I decided I wanted to do the hard lemonade stand, Katie. And then I enlisted my sister. And then I
Oh,
did.
it was the hard lemonade stand was with your sister.
Yes. So then I enlisted my sister. I didn't like the overhead that required me to pay her because she wanted it to be 50-50. So I had to let her go after one of the first couple of days on the sidewalk. I was like,
You're
listen, we're
still
not.
8 or 9. How old are you
I'm
then?
8. Yeah, 8. I was going to say 8 o'clock. And then I decided to get cheaper labor. So I went and hired another 8 or 10 year old boy named Nelson. And at the end of the first, I think it was like 10 days, it was bonkers. Our lemonade business went through the roof in Edgartown, Martha's Vineyard, that we made like $359 in the first week or 10 days. And I gave Nelson his commission, which was $3.59. And he thought he had hit the jackpot. He could not believe his good fortune.
But Chelsea,
So
where did you get the liquor to make the hard lemonade? Come on.
from my parents' house.
You just stole it?
Yeah, they're not drinkers. I don't even know why they had alcohol. They never drank. I'm a first generation drinker in my family. I wear that as a badge of honor.
So proud.
Yes, thank you.
Anyway, so you're making a boatload of money and you ended up like, hey, I like making my own money. This is really great.
Yes.
But so where did you get this ambition? Do you think it's because I remember reading or talking to you about your parents, how you used to get yourself up to go to school in the morning while they were sleeping? So was it that early need for you to be independent and a hustler? Kind of was that did that lead to this ambition, or do you think you're just kind of hardwired this way?
I think I don't know. I'm sure it's a combination of your surroundings and your nature, that you're born with. But I'm definitely a hustler, and I think that's great. I mean, you're a hustler too. I think it's important to also. I mean, I wanted a big, loud, brave life. That's what I wanted. I wanted it to be like, I'm like, I have to get to LA so I can become famous. And then people will start to understand that I have something to contribute. Like, I had no idea where my confidence came from, but I really believed in myself. And I just thought, okay, this is how it's going to be. Like, and when I look back and think about all of these things that have come true and the fact that I, I am this person, it's really empowering, and it's such a nice idea for all women to do, to check in and make sure that you're, because it's like the essence of who we are as children is so clear, and then the world kind of shits on us and we get our hearts broken and things happen, and we become kind of, we sometimes can get away from ourselves and who the essence of who we are is. So it's really nice to think about the things you did as a kid, and to be like, oh, that's who I really am.
In fact, one of the quotes you include is when we are children, the essence of who we are is front and center. We are unscathed by what can very often be an ugly world. Bringing that child into adulthood, even only for moments at a time, is how we remain true to ourselves. Hold on to that child tightly as if she were your own, because she is. I mean, a lot of this book really is on the evolution of Chelsea Handler, if you will, kind of what you were like in your 20s and 30s, and kind of how you've changed in your 40s, but also how you've gone back and retrieved that essence of who you were as a child. Is that a fair assessment?
Definitely. I love that. Yes.
And it's
And it,
also about therapy and how therapy kind of helped you do that, right, Chelsea?
how therapy gives you the gift of a self-awareness. We all could use a little bit more of that. Um, more compassion, more empathy, and more of, it takes a lot of grit to go through therapy. It takes a lot of grit to face an ugly situation. But at the end of it, when you come out of it, you're kind of able to deal with more difficult situations in a calmer, more loving way. Not every conflict doesn't have to be an explosion. You
Is
can
this
have
called
conflict.
cognitive behavioral therapy,
It is
Chelsea?
also called that, yes. And that's another term for it. Or microdosing LSD. They're all the same. It's all the same.
I sent my
Commensurate.
daughter a paragraph because she can be kind of reactive at times, and doesn't have that 7 second delay, and kind of lashes out at times. She's a wonderful person, by the way, but she wrote me back. I texted it to her. She goes, "Bro, that's CBT."
Yeah, yes, it is. It is. But listen, you have to I've read so many self-help books, and they're all saying, everyone is saying the same thing. It's the matter of the use of language that gets you. It's like taking a horse to water. Some things resonate with certain people and some things don't.
But
So
it's also, I think you made clear in your book, Chelsea, it's like learning it and then putting it into practice. I mean, there's
yeah,
a big bridge between intellectually understanding yourself and actually changing your behavior in real time, right?
yeah, it's the application of all of the knowledge that you glean. You have to then make it. You can't just know about it. You have to apply it to your life and then change the way that you react in certain situations and the way that you are as a person. And it for me, I was such a high viber and life of the party type of personality that that started to become my identity. So to kind of dial that back and kind of be a little bit less fun and less and almost boring to some people, the contrast. That
Right.
was a little weird too and awkward because people are like, where's Chelsea? Like, we want the real Chelsea. I'm like, well, I don't know who she is anymore. I'm having a transition right now, trying to take all the good parts of my personality and apply them to this new, better version of myself, if you
Did you
will.
ultimately feel like you found balance? Because I know that you were very kind of introspective and you stopped being the life of the party, and everyone was like, as you just mentioned, what the hell is wrong with you? Bring our friend back. And were you able to kind of put the fun Chelsea together with the more thoughtful Chelsea or the more listening Chelsea ultimately? Were you, because I don't know, that's hard to do, right?
Yes, but I think first of all, it kind of happens naturally and organically because it's very. I think it's similar to going to school all year. You go to school for 9 months out of the year, and then you have the summer, which is 3 months to kind of absorb everything you learned over the school year while you're not learning. You let it sink in. So I think that's analogous to therapy. It takes time to sink in, and while it was many moments of severe discomfort or ugliness or self-loathing or whatever comes along with really taking a good look at yourself, the end result is you become more solid and more grounded than you ever were. You become like a tree. You're like, okay, I've been through this. I'm not a leaf, I'm the tree, actually. And that's how you start to go through the world. And then you're a little bit more unshakable. So you're even stronger than you were before.